Hey folks, AceTCG here, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at Black Yellow Luffy. Alright, so let's get into the actual deck profile then. So this is Black Yellow Luffy, or BY Luffy as it is normally known as, and a few things have changed from the past sets. I'm still on the 4 Kuzan, I'm still giving those a try. I like Ice Age, but I'm just giving the raw Kuzan a go, just because a lot of decent players who get a lot of tops are also doing exactly that, so I'm going to go with it. 4 Blocker Sabo, 4 Moria, of course. I'm trying 2 of the Shirahoshi. Cross II just topped the Card Fest in the US, and I saw them running this, but I've also seen some of the Japanese lists running this as well, and I thought it's actually quite nice. So the idea behind it is being able to do Gecko Moria into a Shirahoshi and a 2-cost, be either the Baby Sabo or the Baby Luffy, and then you can use the on-play to reduce the cost of something, and then, you know, do the rest of your combos. You could, for example, play the Shirahoshi and a Luffy. Luffy could use its effect to bring out the Egghead Luffy, and then you're able to KO an 8-cost, which is, of course, really good. Or even more if you have a Kuzan out, which happens quite a lot. 4 Flampe, 4 Hiyori, 4 Egghead, 4 Sabo, 1 of this Sabo. I think there's a lot of 5-cost right now that are really good. For example, in Pluffy, they have the Sangoro, which is just like a card that I really want to answer on a curve, but there's other decks that also have them. Yasop, for example, for Shanks, some good stuff. 2 Makino, I like the consistency of having the 10 2Ks, so I'm sticking with that. 4 Garp, of course, 4 of this Baby Luffy, 4 Big Luffy. This card is really, really good right now. 2 Raigo, so again, some of the lists in Japan, they were a bit heavier on the Raigo. I think the Raigo is a nice transition going forward, especially with the latest release of OP09, because there are so many bigger units that, like, we kind of need to answer. Shanks has the 10-cost Shanks that is super effective against us, but the biggest one is definitely Blackbeard. Blackbeard just has the ability to kind of already put us in a bad situation. It turns off our on play, so our Kuzan doesn't draw, our Sabo doesn't draw and gain the protection, Shirahoshi, all of our 2Ks don't allow us to go down, so it can become a really difficult matchup. Raigo not only allows us to trash our life down to 1, but it can also KO a big card. So KOs anything, we're going to be trying to KO the 10-cost Teach with this. And then I'm trying out the 3 1-cost events. In past lists I was down to 2 or even 1 at some times, but I feel like with the 2 use of the brother, it's quite important that we're able to search out exactly the card that we need at specific times. But yeah, that's the list. Let's get into some actual games. All right, so we have game 1. Now, usually I want to go second, but Fluffy really wants to go first, so I'm gonna try going first. Let me know as well, what do you think about the current setup? I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan this. Nice, we see Sabo and some big Luffys, which are really important for us, and we'll pass. Yeah, let me know what you think about the setup. I've got a brand new light. I'm very happy with my lighting setup right now. New green screen and a new mic, so I'm hoping I'm a lot clearer. But also, is my giant head too big? Because I do slightly cover some of the card names, so let me know if that's an annoyance for you. If it is, I can give it a little move around. But yeah, they pass, so no 1-cost law. I'm going to use the 3 brothers to peek at the top 5. We have either a big Luffy or Space Luffy. I'm going to take the Egghead Luffy because I already have 2 bigs. And then I'm going to go ahead and swing 7 directly at the Luffy. I'm interested to see if they're going to try and starve me. A lot of people's mindset in this matchup is to starve, so I'm interested. Also, a lot of the Pluffys have rotated away from running the 4-cost lore. I was still running 2 of them in my list, but it's not as common as it used to be. We see a Bonclay come out here, which does kind of deter me from using Big Luffy, because then they could swing at me for 8. They don't try and stall here, so they swing at me for 6. I'm going to go ahead and take that. We see a Flampe, which is super nice, but we're in no rush here. I really don't want to over invest and self-damage super high, because I can get punished by this deck very easily. So I'm just going to take it slow. I think I'm going to play out my Sabo here. Next turn I'm expecting a 7-cost Luffy Taro, but I'm going to play Sabo out. Raigo isn't a card that I need in this matchup, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then next turn I wouldn't be playing Kuzan anyway, so I'm going to get rid of the Kuzan as well, and we'll pass. So I did make a little misplay. The advice I usually actually give, and it's slipped my own mind because I haven't played this deck in a while, is if you are missing Moria in your starting hand, don't use your searches. So I would normally never use this 1-cost event on turn 1 if I don't have Moria in my hand. I got fortunate and didn't put a Moria to the bottom with it, so, you know, skill pays off, definitely all talent, but I would usually advise not doing what I exactly just did. So we see the Luffy Taro come out here. I'm wondering if it's going to be either the 4-cost or nothing. That's a play. I don't know if I would have done that said play, but you know, it's certainly a play. I'm thinking of just swinging for 7 with lead here, maybe 6-7. It does mean that they'll be able to get Luffy Taro into my Sabo, but I'm not overly all that bothered about that. So I'm just going to do that again, take my time. I'm going to do 6 first with the Sabo, see if we can get a card from them. They use the Don minus as well from the Luffy Taro, so that was a little bit confusing. I am in the lower end of ranked. I haven't been grinding as much as I probably should have, but we'll use the Sabo, drop the Raigo again, and I don't think I'm going to need the Shirahoshi, so I think I'm going to get rid of that as well. How many bigs do I have here, though? We can get rid of the Shirahoshi. I imagine we're going to see an 8 into Sabo here. Not in a terrible spot. As we get closer to the 10 Don range, we see a 6 going into the Sabo. I'm just going to let it go. One thing I've learned while using this deck is like all of your resources in your hand are really important. So, you know, using counter to counter out of a body that's probably going to die this turn anyway isn't ideal, especially when we realistically want our opponent to put us to low life so we can start activating our effects. I don't know what they're planning here. They've got a queen, okay. One thing that I do need to keep on top of in my mind is the 9-cost Linlin is quite a big problem for me. So they use the queen, draw 2 and discard a Trafalgar Law, doing the Don minus as well, so not too bad. I think that this deck BY can be a little bit difficult to play against, so sometimes it'll catch people off guard. I am tempted to just play out the big Luffy but not actually use its effect. I kind of want to deal with the Bentham, which is a little bit of a problem for me. So do I just do bigger Sabo into this and then swing lead, maybe? Yeah, so let's do 7 with Sabo into the Mr. 1, Mr. 2. There we go. Mr. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm wondering if they're going to counter here. They could do so by blocking 2k, which is what they do. Now I have 3. I could try and clear out the queen, but I kind of want to just make sure that I'm securing this Mr. 2 here. It becomes a little bit problematic again, like I said, with the Luffy. I don't really want to use Luffy ability just now. I don't think they have a way to clear it, so I'm okay with just keeping it up, because next turn I can do an effect on this anyway. We do have the Makino as well, which I'd like to keep. I'm not going to use it. Again, I don't want to rush. I could put myself in a position where they can, like, if I use this effect, yes, I'll draw a card now, but then they have 3 swings, maybe even a 9-cost Luffy coming at me, and that could put me in a really bad spot. So we see the second Luffy Taro come down with an actual Sangoro this time. And they do have 2 open, so we have to keep in mind about the Gum Gum Giant. Never mind, they completely tap out. They swing for 7 into our Sabo, which we're just going to let go. And they pass turn. Okay, so I don't have a Kuzan out, so I don't really have an answer for Sangoro. I'm going to now need to awaken, so I'm going to activate the effect of the Luffy. We'll get another Sabo here. I still want to realistically get to 9, so I am going to do Flampe here. So we'll play out the Flampe, take the top life. We get a Moria, which makes me very happy for next turn. And we can also play out a Garp here. So the thing is I'm in an awkward spot. I could play out another big Luffy for 5, which would put me to 6 Don, meaning that I, you know, have 4 Don to play with, 2 on leader, and then a baby Sabo. And why am I questioning that? Maybe that's just the play. Yeah, I'm questioning myself. I want to keep the 2Ks, so I'll do it. We get another Sabo to hand here. We could do 2 on lead. Let's see what's in trash. We've got double Sabo and we've got 2 in our hand as well. So we'll do lead effect to trash 1. We will trash another Sabo. Yeah, we'll trash a Sabo and play out double Sabo. And then we can do baby Sabo effect, deploy it out. We hit another Moria, which is quite nice. And then now we can start discarding some of these 5 costs. Now we don't have another baby, which is a little bit scary for next turn, because we would like to do Moria, but obviously we don't have it. We're going to swing 8 into lead here, and they have double Luffy Taro, which is scary because I'm only 7. But we do have 2 2Ks, 3 2Ks even, sorry, and a blocker, so we're not terrified. They block and counter. Don't know how I feel about that. I don't really want to swing into the queen here, so I'm just going to swing at lead for 9, and then I'm going to pass it back over. They might now start trying to apply pressure to me, specifically because I have the face up, so the Sabo will go to bottom of deck, and I'm only 7k here, so they could get some decent level swings here. Sangoro's probably going to get a Don on it and swing up for 7, meaning it'll require a card from me, but also they will draw a card, which is always great. We see a 2 Don going to lead, more than... Okay. I don't know how I feel about this. They swing at me for 10. These are probably going to get a bit big, so I kind of want to save my blocker. Yeah, no worries. Let it go. I could maybe play Usohachi. No. That's 9k coming at me. We won't block that one, and we'll give them a Makino and a Garp. See, double 9s. They've not got any Don left up to be able to use their stuff. No block, and we'll give them Flampe and Sabo, and then we'll block this last one. Yeah, we will block this. Alright. We draw a Sabo here, which is really good, because now we can do lead effect first. Make sure we activate these before we do anything. But we can lead effect, discard baby Sabo to bring back double big Sabo. So we'll do exactly that. We'll trash 1 card from our hand. We'll trash baby Sabo. And we'll place double Sabo. And then do we do our swings with the Luffy first? There's no real point to, so we'll just play out Moria for double baby Sabo. Get rid of this Flampe. And we'll start deploying. We'll get rid of this. We can get rid of the big Luffy. And we'll do this one. Deploy. Get rid of this. Get rid of the baby Luffy. So do I want to start swinging a little bit into bodies? Let's see if... We'll just swing face, see what the life's like. If we get the queen block, then we can swing the Luffy into one of these. We're in a bit of a scary situation. But we are 9k and we have 2 blockers. So, okay, there's the block. So now I'm going to swing 8 into... I kind of want to stop the draw. So I'm going to do 8 into the Sangoro. We might get counter, and if we get counter, which we do, we can now swing into the Luffy Taro with a bigger number. So we'll do that. Because they need 2 2Ks here. No, let us go. So now we're in a really, really nice situation. Because we have double blocker up. And obviously the Sabos. So they might have, they'd need to have Usohachi, 4 Don on Luffy Taro, right? And that will put them to 12k. And I can't stop 12k. But no, they play the 9 cost Luffy out here. Which allows them to unplay, draw a card against Rush. But I don't know if that's going to be enough for them, really. They'll get a draw here from swinging with the Sangoro. But they swing 10k at me. I think usually we would just block here. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to do the same again. Save the cards in our hand. And they concede. Nice. So we'll throw them the GG. They did have the Gum Giant in hand here, so maybe this should have been an 8 at one of the Luffys, but I think we were in such like a strong position there. Like we had the other Moria to be able to go double Sabo. We were going to go 8, 8, 9. This would have been 11. We would have replaced one of the Luffys with a Moria and double Sabo again, and I probably would have got rid of this Luffy Taro. So, you know, 3 bodies here, and then, you know, swinging into this as well. So a lot of pressure. They would have either given me most of their cards in hand or lost their Luffy Taro that turn. So yeah, pretty good. Game 2. So game 2, and we have a really bad matchup in Foxy. We're going to go second, but this is actually a really, really bad matchup for us. We've got Kuzan, but no Moria. I'm going to keep it and see if it pays off. Jordan. Foxy isn't one that you usually expect to see, so it's a little bit difficult. What I do want to do is not really rest any characters where possible, because then they can swing Foxy into the character instead of into my lead. The problem is, okay, they swing at me for 5. We're going to take that. Oh, yes, I'll use the trigger and I'll KO the Khalifa. Yes, that's sensational. That's why you swing first with leader. That was nice. So they played Porsche into the Khalifa, but they swung at lead, and I got the Luffy effect, which is really nice. Maybe killing the Porsche actually was better because it's a Foxy Pirate. That might have been a slight misplay. We're going to play Kuzano anyway. We draw a Hiyori, and we'll pass. Next time we can play out the Sabo. We have a lot of 2Ks, but not a lot to go with that. I don't really want to heavily self-damage myself. The Kuzan coming out is really nice because I can deal with the 7-cost Foxies, hopefully, down the line. I don't think they have a way to deal with my Kuzan, so I'm just going to keep it up, doing, again, exactly what I just mentioned before, and trying not to have as many rested characters where possible. I do currently have no Morias, though, so that's something to keep in mind. They play a Porsche, use the effect to look at the top, and then they get a Pickles. So if you don't know what Pickles does, it does exactly that. If you have less or equal done than your opponent, it keeps going away. Your Foxy Pirate characters other than Pickles can't be KO'd by your opponent's effects, which is a little bit scary. They play the Black Maria and use its effect. They're going to go back down to 4 Don. I don't want to search with the 3 brothers here, again, like I said, because I don't have Moria. But then they go back down to 4 Don because of the Black Maria. They did Don minus, so it's not a loss really in their eyes. I'm going to swing 6 at lead with the Luffy, and then we're just going to play out the Sabo. And hopefully, on the top 2 cards of our deck, are some Morias. Here we go. No Moria, but we do have a Garp, but we don't want to search. So I'll get rid of this, and I think I'm going to drop the Garp as well. And then we'll just pass turn. Keep the Kuzan upright, keep the Sabo up. I mean, obviously we played Sabo this turn. This matchup kind of sucks. They play out the Itomizu? Itomizu? Struggling to pronounce that one, but it allows them to gain Don, basically, as long as you don't have another card with the same name as it, and you need to have a Foxy leader. But now they have 4 Foxy Pirate cards out. They pass turn, which is, again, fine with us. Don't want them to be able to swing into Sabo, so I'm just not going to swing with it. I'll play the Sabo out first, see if we draw something nice. We draw Moria. So next turn, we don't have any bigs right now, and we keep discarding all of our searches because I'm dumb. It's a smart move, I promise. So we'll discard a Kuzan, and we'll discard a baby Sabo, and then we'll just swing big into them with the leader for 8. They don't have any blockers right now. They have a lot of baby weenies. Ideally for them, they would have liked to have seen a 7-cost Foxy coming out there. We'll just pass again. Next turn, we can do Gecko Moria into a Kuzan and Garp, potentially search for some bigs. But we'll have to see what we get here. If they swing at us, then it might be a different story. Potentially, because we do have the ability to block with the Sabos if we need to, bring them back with the Moria. There comes the 7-cost Foxy. Not ideal. But I can deal with it next turn by swinging with Kuzan. Oh, no, Pickles. We can't forget Pickles. Pickles nearly caught me off guard. We do have a 5-cost Space Luffy, but you need 2 because you need to deal with Pickles first. They sing 7 at lead, and then they use lead effect to stun my leader. And I'm just going to take that. I'll use the trigger now with the Three Brothers Bond, and we miss. That is a disgusting life. Oy vey. We miss with the Three Brothers Bond. That really hurt. Another Space Luffy would have been really, really good for us. They use the Foxy and the Itumizu effect here. They also have the Black Maria, so they can do like... I was wondering... Wait, are we going to get BM'd? Oh no. Okay. We get another Sabo out here. Of course, with the Foxy, we're in a particularly tough situation. But we do have double Sabo, so like, it's not too bad. I kind of want to just like Sabo here. I can't swing with this, so I do kind of want to Sabo. Let's Sabo. Let's do it. We draw another Moria here. We can discard some of the babies. And then, do we swing with a Sabo? If we swing with a Sabo, it's never seeing life again. So we'll just pass. And see what they do. They have to attack us with their leader at face if they want to be able to stun my leader again. So we're just going to do exactly what we've been doing. Like, the scarier thing here would be if they drop another Foxy. Again, they have Pickles, so... we see a Porsche come out here. Don't really know how I feel about that. I suppose they're doing it for the search. They draw a 2-cost blocker, which I can't get rid of because this Pickles is in the way. If they put us to 0 to be able to stun lead, then we can do some plays. We can bring out the Luffy. So next turn we could potentially do Moria into Baby Luffy Kuzan if needed. Maybe another 7 here. Another 7 cost would be really, really scary. Great heavens. That's pretty bad for us. But they have to swing at us with lead if they want to use the effect. Oop. This matchup is so very weird. Like, now they're probably thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, which is like, do I really want to put them to 0 like by myself? And they choose not to do so. We are drawing all of the babies. We can self-damage ourselves here with the probably the Makino first. And then we could KO one of our own Sabos. Maybe. I think we need to turn it on now. Let's do Makino. That's sensational. We get a big Luffy. Never punished. Never ever punished. What do we want to put there? Probably the Luffy. Let's... Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so dumb. But now we can do double Luffy in life because we saw the big one. We'll take the small Rocket Luffy. We'll do lead effect to trash. Ooh, we only have one small Luffy in hand. Should we cancel? Yeah, let's replace this Sabo. So it's 4k currently. We're going to use 2. Should we swing with this? Yeah. 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 7. They might block here with the Tony Chopper. Ooh, if they replace it as well, we can... So we replace it with... It's Luffy. Luffy is probably the one. Luffy, and then we do lead effect now to trash the Luffy. To put down big Luffy, and then next time we can Moria. And then we'll do... I'm so dumb. I was supposed to put Sabo as the second one. I'm getting overwhelmed a little bit, but we move, we just deploy it. We'll activate its effect and have to KO Pickles. Those damn pickles, eh? We can swing with a Sabo if we want to. Probably not. Probably just make lead big, go. Swing. This is probably going to get Tony ploppered. Which he does. And then we pass. So we should have been on 0 life there. I was supposed to put Sabo there instead of the big Luffy. So then I could play this Sabo out, be 9k base. Now we're a little bit vulnerable because I made a misplay. We see Ragnarok come down, which KOs one of our Sabos. We're okay with that. I mean, it's fine. The double big Foxy is still terrifying for us, but we can now start to do our Gecko Morias, which, you know, help us a lot here. The problem with having a big Luffy stuck here now is I want to do Sabo and Rocket Luffy, because next turn I could do Kuzan Swing, reduce a Foxy, play the Space Luffy with the Moria KO the Foxy, but because I've played the way that I have, it's kind of put me in an awkward spot. If they do swing 7 at me, I can just get rid of this. So they stun lead. I think I'm just going to take it. Yeah, because now I can do exactly what I've just told you about, right? And they play a 3-cost Sanji. 3-cost. Yeah. Which is a blocker. I wonder if they're going to swing 7 with one of the Foxies. I think they should in this scenario, but, you know, bit of an awkward situation for them. They didn't have 3 Foxy Pirates, so they didn't use lead effect. We have triple Moria, which is great. We can do lead effect to discard Baby Sabo, but first we'll just swing for this, reducing the Foxy. We're gonna get rid of it. Maybe we should have actually got rid of the Sabo in this. We might have had game. No, let's not. We'll do leader effect, discard Baby Sabo to put out Sabo and Luffy, and then we'll do Gecko Moria to play Sabo and Luffy, like this. We'll do Luffy first, deploy it, Spaceman Luffy to KO a Foxy and draw, and then we'll do the other Sabo. We draw 2, discard the Kuzan. We just want counter, so we'll get rid of that as well. And then we have double blocker. We'll swing big into the Foxy here. Next turn, they'll probably be able to lock down the Kuzan, so I'll never be able to attack with that again. And same with my leader, but I'm in a really nice spot here. I have double blocker up. I have more Morias in my hand. They do use their Sanji here, but they counter as well. I don't know how I feel about that. They should probably have just let it go. That's a lot of cards for them to lose. We'll pass. They do also only have 1 Foxy now, so it's not as quite oppressive. So, you know, not a bad situation for us now. We've managed to turn it around. I really worry about this matchup. I've played it before. One of my friends, Omar, he plays this list, and it's quite terrifying, I won't lie. So they do swing at us for 9. I kind of want to block here. They don't use the leader effect. But there's no need to block. We will just use the Baby Sabo. Just make sure that shit didn't notice. So tired. Oh, they made a mistake. They didn't notice I was 9k. We'll hit them with the GG. Oh, they disconnected. I was going to say unfortunate. But either way, even if they didn't make a misplay, we'd managed to lock that one down. Like, that blocking and for a bit of, yeah, awkward plays. I don't think they managed to get the deck's most powerful aspects off as they did. But yeah, let's go to game 3, and a really interesting matchup right there. Game 3, and this is the matchup that I was the most afraid of in the form of Teach. We have a big Luffy. I'm going to mulligan. Maybe mulliganing was this. What am I doing? What am I doing in this matchup? I'm garping now. I have a Moria. Right, let's reset. Take our time. I'm garping, and I want to find big Luffy. We find one. That makes me very happy. And then we'll pass back over to them. We have to remember that a lot of our on plays are just going to be cooked here. They play it out the dock Q, use its effect to KO Garp straight away. And then I wonder if they're going to swing at me with Teach. I do kind of want to answer this dock Q so that they don't get a free way to be able to just deal with my my Luffy. So I think I'm just going to swing into the dock Q here for big. They'll draw a card, but I'm okay with that. let's do it. And the reason I'm doing this is that I don't want them to be able to now just play out like a Van Auger and then just get the free rest. I'm putting them in a position where they'll need to have a dock queue alongside the reduction again. So we'll see what happens from here. I do want to play out the Luffy. With the Luffy in this matchup, I'm going to immediately play it in self-damage because it's really difficult for me to get to 0 life, especially when they try and starve me. Let's just see the Van Auger out, like I mentioned. And we hope now they don't have another way to KO it. Of course, they have a lot of events and stuff like that, so a part of it is playing out the Luffy and just immediately expecting it to go. We'll swing with 5 with leader first, and then the plan for this turn is 3 Brothers Bond with the Luffy. We're going to do the 3 Brothers Bond first. Get to look at the top 5 here. I'm not Black Hold. Maybe I just play Sabo. Let's take Sabo. They didn't use leader effect last turn, so now I can just play 5 cost Sabo out. Draw 2, we get another big Luffy, which is great. We're not going to need the Shirahoshi, and we can go ahead and get rid of the Rocket Luffy, and then we'll just pass. Of course, they could use, there's the 4 cost event that allows them to trash the character, so that one, Liberation. I don't know if that's the same naming convention that we have in English, though. They used Van Auger and used that alongside it to trash. They swing 6 at us, which we're definitely going to take, and we get Origo. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to your opponent's life total. So I could get rid of Van Auger here, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep it in hand for when those 10 cost teachers come down. We do see a Van Auger and a Doc Q come out here. I'm going to swing 8 into Van Auger, I think, and then play out Big Luffy. I have been Black Hold now, so leader effect is active. So let's go ahead and swing 8 into Van Auger, see if we can get 2 cards from their hand. No, they let it go, so we'll play out Big Luffy, activate its effect immediately to draw a card and self-damage, and we'll pass. Now, we're very happy to do this, again, because we're in a position where we will want to play Rygo as soon as they play the 10 cost. They use the finger gun on us here, and then they play out a Burgess, which is actually quite strong for us. They use Black Hole as well. So now we go to 10. Quite a difficult situation for us here, but I think we're just going to play out maybe double Big Luffy and use one of the effects, and then if they try and swing big at us, we kind of just say okie dokie, no worries. So we'll swing 5 first at lead, see what they do to react. They've only got a 4 card hand, so not a terrible position for us here. We'll play out the Big Luffy and we will use its effect to see if it changes what our plan was. And then we'll just play out the other Luffy as well. So we'll pass now. We have an okay amount of counter. I wouldn't really be in a happy position if they decided to try and go for game. They don't play the 10 cost, which isn't ideal for us. That was kind of what we were expecting. We were hoping that it was going to be 10 cost next turn, so then we could Rygo, use this effect, and then, you know, put a baby in, do some things. But they don't do that. They play a Van Auger out here. They're reducing costs, so I think they have it. Oh, they already have a Doc Q out, sorry. So they do Doc Q to KO my Luffy. And they also play out Stronger, which is going to reduce it again. So getting another 2k from them feels pretty good for us. Like, not overly that bothered. Their hand is getting quite low. Next turn, we're going to be able to do some of our effects. I might do Rocket Luffy next turn, bring out with lead effect. They play a Mancherry out. And then I wonder if they're going to swing into us with Burgess. They don't do that. I suppose that's to try and stop me from swinging into the Burgess, but I don't really mind. They didn't use lead effect, so now I'm going to full combo them to send a message. We have Moria here, so we're going to do... what bigs do we have? We have Rocket Luffy and we have a Sabo. So we're going to do Moria. Wait, what babies do I have in trash first? We have one of each, that's okay. So now we will do Moria first for Sabo Luffy. Leader effect, trashing a Kuzan, we don't need it. Yeah, and there we go, our opponent conceded. Really, really big mistake not to use the leader effect there. And you know, we're able to get so much value out from the Moria just because on one turn our opponent misplayed. little plays for them that they could have done better, right? Like swinging with a Burgess there maybe to stop me from getting a draw from the Luffy, but we were in a really strong position there. Like we had the Raigo ready for if the 10 cost came down, and in that same turn we could have put 2 leader, 2 Don on leader and played a baby, leave us on 1 life, 7k base, you know, nice spot. And if they'd done that, they wouldn't have been able to play all of these things or deal with our double big Luffys, so we would have had a nice pushback there. So I think we would have had that game down either way, but a nice representation of how this matchup definitely isn't as straightforward as people were thinking it was. When we were seeing teaching gameplay, people were like, well, there goes BYU Luffy, it's never going to be able to play again. It has an effect that says negate leader, a way to stop on plays when we rely so heavily on Sabo, Kuzan, you know, all of these little things, but Big Luffy is the answer in this matchup, alongside the Raigo. Fourth game, last game. Let's see if we can get... I would like a Shanks or a Dofi. Would be ideal, but we're in ranked, and we'll just have to see what the dice rolls us. All right, our fourth and last game is against Rob Lucci, so an older one. We do have double Moria in hand with a Garp, so I'm going to keep this in hopes that my Garp is going to pay off big time. This is kind of a risky keep, to be honest. We don't have a lot of our pieces, but we're never punished because we're just so great at the game. We draw another Garp per turn. We see a big Luffy, but also 2 of our smalls. I'm going to take one of the smalls just in case we don't see another one of those, which would, you know, make me want to cry a little bit. And then our only other option from the other Garp is a Rocket Luffy. So we'll pass turn here. Now, in the past, this used to be a favoured matchup for Black Yellow Luffy. Let's see if it pans out that way in this matchup. Of course, you know, favoured matchups can go either way. They see the Brook super early here and they don't swing, so they know a little bit about what they're doing. We don't have a Kuzan here, so we're just going to swing a little bit of pressure. We'll swing with Garp for 5,000, and then we'll swing with lead for 6. This might be one of those games where I do a Moria early for double Garp here to get the rest of our pieces. It's been a while since we've done some of those. Next turn, we're definitely going to play out the Sabo, so it's probably going to be 6 with lead and Sabo as well, so we'll just pass turn there. They took the first one from the Garp as well, so they're on 4 now, and they used a Who's Who to stop the lead effect. They swing 6 into Garp here, and we will let it go. Let's see what they milled. A Khalifa and a Gecko Moria. They're going to play Rebecca effect to get Who's Who back to hand, and use Spandine effect. Use Spandam effect to draw Spandine. There we go, struggled. So now we've got another Moria in hand. We're definitely next turn going to do double Garp with the Moria, unless from this Sabo we can draw a Kuzan, which would be great. But we'll do 6 into lead first with the Luffy. I wonder if they're going to block here. I think it's probably right to block here, even though we've seen the Who's Who, just because, of course, I run like the Monkey D. Luffy. They do block, so again, doing everything exactly how I would do it as well. And then we use our Sabo. I'm going to get rid of the Luffy and the Sabo, I think. Like, we don't really need it now. I'm going to just try and do value Morias back to back to back if I need to. Trying not to have any cards rested here so they can't get as many Rob Lucci swings in. They have double Moria from their mills so far, so we've got really lucky with that. Like, a lot of their top end has been punished. We see a Rob Lucci base come out and then pass turn. We get a Luffy here, but that's not really what we're going for. We'll just swing 5 into lead first, and then I'm going to keep my Sabo up, I believe. I want them to be in a situation where it's not ideal to be able to, you know, answer my board. And then we'll do Moria into double Garp. First Garp gets us Baby Luffy. We've got to remember that that's the last one we're going to see this game. And the second one gets us our Sabo and our last Moria. So another thing that we need to keep in mind. And then we'll just pass turn. Usually they can quite easily deal with the Moria here if they swing at us instead of the Garp. That's interesting. Probably see an Ice Age into... I'll take that. We're getting close to just being... We can probably actually just... Oh no, we see a Kaido. Yeah, so Kaido is going to trash this, and then I have to discard a card from my hand. We don't need Big Luffy, so we'll get rid of that. This Kaido is only if you play it this turn as well, so I'm not that bothered. They get rid of both of our Garps. Now we do see a Kuzan, but the question is, do we want to awaken here? We do have another Sabo, and we have the Luffy to be able to get rid of this Rob Lucci. I think we do awaken. Let's do it. I'll definitely not regret this. Take top. Oh, beautiful. Triple Flampe is broken. Like, that's disgusting. We can do 7 with Sabo into lead. And then now we'll do cancel. Let's take a look at what we've got in trash. We've got Sabo and Luffy. So we can just discard this Luffy now. Trash Luffy to put Sabo and then maybe just big Luffy. Let's do it. Let's get a bit of power. So first we'll use the baby Luffy, deploying out this Luffy, and then we'll use the baby Sabo to bring this out, and they can see it immediately. Triple Flampe is broken, by the way. Like, us seeing another Flampe straight off the back with that is OP. Look at the size of our hand, right? We have a blocker, we're 9k base. They could try and swing some big stuff through, but there's no coming back from that. We have double Moria. There we were going to discard double Kuzan, so then we just got a handful of counter as well. Look at that, we've got 4 2ks with a 9k base. Even more like babies around that and a blocker up. And a way to loop that 2 more times. Like, it's definitely fair for them to concede at that point. It's kind of checkmate. Like, when you're playing solitaire and you see all your pieces, you win. So yeah, a little bit disgusting. So there we saw an example of what happens when everything in all of your matchups goes perfectly, right? Now, again, if you've seen this channel, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you'll have games where you've just bricked out. There's too many reliance on pieces, but I do think the deck is a really big contender for one of the best decks in the format right now, and it's been overshadowed by some of these other decks that have came out. Now, I do think some of the other matchups might be interesting, like what BY Luffy into Shanks is like. We didn't see a game with BY Luffy into Dofi. In the past, that's been a little bit close, with BY actually being favoured slightly. But yeah, we'll see. I think I'm going to do another video. One cool thing is this is the leader that I got from the leader collection. And you can see the difference with the gold and stuff. So I just wanted to show that as well. There's obviously different alts in the white one that you get from that. I've had that in the past, and then the base one. But this is one that I managed to get from Uchek, so I thought it was pretty cool. Let me know, as always, if there's anything that you'd like to see an improvement-wise. If there's a leader that you'd like me to cover, then let me know. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and peace.